12 boys, one coach, trapped 4 kilometers inside a flooded cave, buried beneath a mountain in northern Thailand. No food, no dry ground to sleep on, and water rising hour after hour, closing off any hope of walking back out the way they came in. Above ground, an entire country holds its breath. Divers from across the world are called in. Men who have spent their entire careers in flooded caves. Men who say, without exaggeration, that this is the most dangerous rescue they have ever attempted. Some of the world's best divers will risk their lives in these tunnels. Not everyone will make it out again. This is the story of the rescue that stopped the world, and the impossible choice that had to be made to bring 13 people home. It's supposed to be nothing more than a quick trip. A youth football team, 12 boys between the ages of 11 and 16, decide to explore a cave after practice with their 25-year-old assistant coach. It's something the team has done before. A tradition, almost. A bit of adventure before heading home for dinner. They leave their bicycles at the entrance. They walk in laughing, taking photos, tracing their hands along the cool limestone walls as they go deeper into the mountain. Nobody checks the weather forecast. Nobody thinks twice. Then the rain begins. Not the light seasonal drizzle they're used to. A sudden, violent monsoon downpour, arriving weeks earlier than expected. Within hours, water floods the narrow passage behind them. The route they walked in on, now completely submerged. 13 people are sealed inside a cave system that stretches more than 10 kilometers underground, with absolutely no way back the way they came. On the surface, parents gather at the cave entrance within hours. By morning, the local news has picked up the story. By the next day, it is a national emergency. Thai Navy SEALs arrive first. Then international rescue teams, engineers, hydrologists, and elite cave divers from the United Kingdom, Australia, the United States, and beyond, all converging on a single muddy hillside in the middle of nowhere. But the water inside the cave is a nightmare. Murky, fast-moving, filled with silt kicked up from the flooding. Visibility drops to 0. Divers describe swimming blind, feeling their way along guide ropes through passages barely wide enough for a human body, in complete darkness, unable to see their own hands in front of their masks. Search after search turns up nothing. A full week passes. Parents keep vigil at the cave mouth, refusing to leave, praying for any sign. Then, on day 9, an eternity for anyone waiting outside. 2 British divers, John Valanthan and Rick Stanton, push through the final flooded chamber and surface inside a small, muddy air pocket deep within the mountain. Their headlamps sweep across the darkness. And there, huddled together on a narrow ledge above the waterline, 13 pairs of eyes stare back. Alive. All of them. Alive. The boys have survived 9 days on almost nothing. A few scraps of food they'd packed for the trip, and water dripping slowly down the cave walls. They are weak. Some have lost significant weight. But remarkably, they are calm, alert, coherent, even managing small smiles for the cameras that are lowered down to them. Their coach, a 25-year-old former Buddhist monk, had taught them something crucial in those 9 days of total darkness. How to meditate, how to slow their breathing, how to stay still, conserve energy, and most importantly, conserve the oxygen in the air pocket keeping them alive. But being found is only the beginning of the crisis, not the end of it. Between the boys and the surface lies 4 kilometers of flooded, twisting tunnel. Certain sections are so narrow that even experienced divers have to remove their air tanks completely just to squeeze their bodies through the gap, pushing the tanks ahead of them through the rock. And here is the terrifying part. None of the boys know how to swim. None of them have ever worn a diving mask in their lives, let alone dived through a flooded cave. With the boys found, rescue officials face an agonizing decision. Monsoon season is only getting worse. Pumps are working around the clock to hold back rising water, but rain is forecast to intensify in the coming weeks. Oxygen levels inside the boys' air pocket are already dropping to dangerous levels, from 13 people breathing in an enclosed space for days on end. One option is to wait, to keep supplying food and oxygen, and hope the water recedes naturally, possibly months from now, once monsoon season ends. But experts calculate a brutal truth. The boys could run out of breathable air long before the water ever goes down. There is only one other option left, and it has never been attempted at this scale, in this kind of environment, on children, ever before in the history of cave diving. Sedate each boy individually. Fit them with a full-face diving mask. Strap them physically to an expert diver, and pull them, unconscious, unable to help themselves, unable to panic even if something goes wrong, through nearly 4 kilometers of flooded, pitch-black tunnel. If a boy wakes up mid-transport and panics underwater, it could be fatal. Not just for him, but for the diver guiding him through the narrowest choke points. Rescue leaders are honest about the odds, even with the parents. Some of the boys, they admit quietly, might not survive the journey out. Before the main rescue operation even begins, tragedy strikes. Saman Gunan, a 57-year-old former Thai Navy SEAL diver, volunteers to help run extra oxygen tanks through the flooded tunnels to the boys and the support divers stationed along the route. On his way back out, in the crushing darkness of the tunnel, he runs out of air. He doesn't make it out alive. His death sends a wave of grief across the entire operation, and a brutal, sobering reminder to everyone involved. This cave has already claimed the life of a highly trained, experienced diver. Now, rescuers must find a way to guide 13 untrained civilians, 12 of them children, through the exact same water that took his life. Every remaining diver on the mission knows the stakes personally now. This isn't a drill. This isn't theoretical danger. It's already real. Over 3 tense days, in small groups of 4, the extraction finally begins. Each boy is sedated by a medic before the journey starts, to keep them calm and still throughout the dive. A full-face mask is fitted tightly over his nose and mouth. Then, one by one, each boy is physically clipped to an expert diver and guided, hand over hand, along a fixed guide rope, through the flooded maze of tunnels. At the narrowest choke points, divers have to pass each sedated boy through gaps, barely wider than their own shoulders, in complete darkness, fighting the current the entire way. It takes hours for each group to make the journey from the inner chamber to open air. Divers work in relay teams, exhausted, pushing through fatigue because stopping isn't an option. And then, one by one, they begin to emerge. Stretchers carried out of the cave mouth into daylight. Paramedics rushing forward. Parents who have waited 17 agonizing days without knowing whether they would ever see their children again, finally allowed to step forward. The reunions are broadcast live around the world. Grown men weeping at the cave entrance, mothers collapsing with relief. On the final day of the operation, the last people to leave are the coach and the remaining divers who stayed behind to support the operation until the very end, following the same principle that guided the entire rescue. The ones responsible for others go last. 17 days trapped underground, 4 kilometers of flooded, narrow cave, 13 lives on the line, against odds that even the world's best rescue divers privately feared were impossible. Every single boy and their coach made it out alive. It remains, to this day, one of the most dangerous and complex rescue operations ever successfully completed. A story defined not just by survival, but by extraordinary patience, international cooperation, and the quiet courage of divers who risked everything for strangers they had never met. Saman Gunan's sacrifice is remembered as part of that story too, a reminder of exactly what was risked to bring those boys home. If this story moved you, make sure to subscribe. Every week, we bring you another real story of survival against impossible odds. Because sometimes, the most incredible stories aren't fiction at all.